Hello, everybody. Welcome to Breaking Nintendo Pokemon Edition here on Bushwish Games. I'm your host, the Licensed Sighted Eddie B. Joining me once again, our Pokemon expert, Professor Benjamin. Pino. Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. Unfortunately, our good friend Christian couldn't make it from Franchise Festival, but we are here to rank. Now get ready for this ranking because we're ranking Ruby and Sapphire for Game Boy Advance, Diamond and Pearl for Nintendo DS, and Black and White 1 and 2 for the DS. Now, just to give everybody heads up, Black and White 1 and 2 had the same starters, so that's why I included that all together as a series. I gotta ask you, Benjamin, how did you feel about the last ranking?
Oh, I thought it came out pretty good. Actually, most of my picks in my ranking kind of are what ended up being the final, I think, except for two. So I was pretty satisfied with that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into this quick history about Pokemon. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are the third generation for the series, while Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are the fourth generation. Pokemon Black and White 1 and 2 are the fifth generation. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire were released in Japan on November 21st, 2002, North America on March 19, 2003, Australia on April 3rd, 2003, and Europe on July 25th, 2003. I can't believe why Europe is still getting the game late.
I know. I'm glad that things have changed more recent times, that it's more global than it was before, because waiting all that time really was a bummer.
Yes. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were released on Japan on September 28, 2006, North America April 22nd, 2007, Australia June 21st, 2007, and Europe on July 27th, 2007. South Korea got it on February 14, 2008. Pokemon Black and White 1 and 2 were released in Japan on September 18, 2010 for Pokemon for Black and White 1 and June 23rd, 2012 for 2. Europe on March 4th, 2011 for 1 and October 12th, 2012 for 2. North America had March 6, 2011 for 1, October 7th, 2012 for 2, and Australia on March 10th, 2011 for 1, and October 11th, 2012 for 2. Ruby and Sapphire sold 16.22 million copies. Diamond and Pearl sold 18 million copies. Black and White 1 sold 15.64, while Black and White 2 sold 7.81 million copies. Diamond and Pearl was the first game where battles can take place online. You had the Wi-Fi connector that you could put into your computer and play online. Remakes of Ruby, Sapphire, Diamond, and Pearl were named Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl. Ruby and Sapphire remakes were on the 3DS, and Diamond and Pearl remakes were on the Nintendo Switch. So that is the history of all of those games, and all of them were developed by Game Freak and the Pokemon community. So, Ben, are you ready to start this discussion?
I am ready. I will have to pause you for a second because it does look like I cannot see your image here, so I don't know if something is a little off. I don't know if it's just my side. Can you see both of us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. As
Yes,
long as
I
it's
can see
working
both
for
of
you.
us.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So you can't see me, correct?
I cannot see you now.
Okay. I'm going to do this, and let's see. Can you see me now?
I can. There you
Okay.
go. Much better.
There we go. Once again, Skype. Okay, so we're going to start with Ruby. The way that we're going to do it, we're going to start with one type. It's going to be Ruby and Sapphire first, Diamond and Pearl second, and then Black and White 1 to 2. So
Sounds good.
here we go. So, Ruby Sapphire, our first starter is we're going with fire. Is Tochi is it Tochik or Toshi?
Torchic, like
Torch.
torch and chick. Torchic. Yeah.
Okay. Um, his evolution is Pambusukin and Blaziken. Okay. I love I love Torchic, but Blaziken looks on just like what it is hot. It looks like it's on fire, and I love his design. I actually love all three.
All right. Well, for me, Torchic is a great design. It's simple. It's effective. It is in the color scheme, of course. It is a fire chick. You know, it makes sense.
Mhm.
Torchic, fire chick. It's in the color scheme. It's an adorable little Pokemon. If you have seen the series, I believe it was May that had this Pokemon, and it's adorable. Really, really good Pokemon. I think it falls off a little bit when it first evolves. Its middle evolution, a lot of people claim that the middle evolution has that middle evolution syndrome, you know, that they look kind of awkward. And I do understand how that works for a lot of these starter Pokemon, but
Yes.
I've seen a lot of art online for Combuskin that's and if you look at the shape without the arms, it's a very suggestive shape, so it's a very weird design. That's all I have to say about that one. I'm not going to go into more details. However, it does redeem itself when it finally evolves into Blaziken, and then of course they came out with Mega Blaziken, which just further enhanced all the good parts of Blaziken, giving it like fire coming out of its wrists and everything, looking totally badass. So Torchic is a really good evolutionary line. Again, minus the middle one, which is not so fresh. And also a good fact is that this is when they started to first introduce firefighting types, and
Yes.
it became a thing, as we'll talk about later. And people were kind of getting sick of it by by the third time around.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, Combuskin, I kind of just like how I guess in the picture he's posed, and like you said, he's a firefighter
Hmm.
in it. So you're thinking martial arts with it
You're right.
and everything, which
You're
gets
right.
us to
It
which
does.
gets us to Pearl and Diamond with Chimchar, and then it go his evolved form is Monferno, and then Infernape, and I'm gonna let you speak on this one first, Benjamin. Thoughts?
So I think Chimchar is okay. I mean, it does what it needs to do. It is a little chimp, right, with a fire on its butt. However, the squiggly line for its hair, I think, is a little funny. I think it would have been better maybe if the fire was in both places, its hair and its behind, I guess.
Yes.
It would have made a little bit more sense to me because it doesn't really a chimp like that, I don't believe, has a tail. So for the fire to be coming out of its rear, it doesn't really make sense. It would make more sense that it was its hair. So I think, to me, that's where it kind of falls off a little bit. It's okay. Now when it evolves, again, another firefighting type, I think it looks really cool. The blue that goes from Monferno, and the
Yes.
tail, it's actually there, and the fire being on its tail makes a lot more sense, as we're used to with like the Charmander line. So it starts to come together for me, and then you get Infernape, also the firefighting, and this one is just amazing. This one actually reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, or actually
Yeah.
Dragon Ball. I'm gonna take it a step back. Dragon Ball, when he was flying on the flying Nimbus, right? The little,
Yes.
when he had its tail, it kind of, I know it has to do with, it's some kind of either Japanese or Chinese mythology. I can't remember which, but the inspiration is there, and it looks fantastic. The fire coming out of its head. So all in all, I think this one gets stronger upon evolution. But if we're just looking at Chimchar separately, it's a little lacking.
Okay. So I think Chimchar is like he's very cute. He gets you in with his cuteness. I agree with you. I wish the fire was on his head. For some unknown reason, my friend looks like he could be as a persona in one of the persona games. Like
Oh wow. Okay.
if you look at the blue style mask and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, he looks like he could be in persona for some reason. Like one of the fighters and everything. And
Okay.
then when you get to Infernape, I do agree with you. It has that Dragon Ball feel to it. He looks like an ancient fire that could also kind of be in the Legend of Zelda for some reason.
Hmm.
Like he could be like if he was in a dungeon where there was a volcano and apes were, adapted to it. This looked like an enemy that you could fight in it, in a sense.
Okay.
Like it does have a Nintendo look to it, I will say. I don't know. All three of them look for some reason all three of them look different. It could fit in different universes. Like Chirchar is just like, yes, he's good for Pokemon, but he just if he was a stuffed plushie, he would look good on the bed to hold. But Maferno looked like, oh, he's from one of the Persona Shin Megami Tensei games. And then and Infernape looks like, yes, he could be in Dragon Ball or he could be in the Legend of Zelda. So uh I like his design, I will say that. Now, Tepid. I remember Black and White kind of being, in a sense, you know, kind of like, oh, this is the low key one. That a lot of people were just like kind of getting a little bit tired of the Pokemon games. But people were still buying it and stuff. Um, you got Tepig as your starter. When he evolves, you got Pig Knight, and then his last version is Ember. And I'm not feeling this one in the fire. I do love Pig Knight though, because he looks like one of my friends that used to live in Chicago. Embor, uh, if Embor was in Sun and the Moon, I think he would fit better than Black and White. There's something about him speaks Hawaiian with his design, his
Yeah,
outfit,
I can
the
see
way
that.
this. So
Uh, okay.
thoughts, Richmond.
Okay. So I do understand that, by this time in Black and White 2 in the Unova games, that people, it was a big divide because what happened here in these games is that they decided to do a Pokedex with a brand new 150 Pokemon, right? They said, we're not going to give you your Pokemon from other generations. We're going to force new Pokemon down your throat, basically. So that was a big divide in the Pokemon community. I didn't mind it because I liked, I saw the other Pokemon before. I didn't need to see Pikachu again in this game, at least in the beginning. I mean, I think they were available in the post game, but in the beginning playthrough of this game, you were only able to access these set of Pokemon. So right there, it set it up for a little bit of failure because there was such a big divide. Now, as far as Tepig, I think Tepig is adorable, but I'm basing it more off of the anime and the movies, right? Because I think they gave it a really good personality. It was also most of Ash's Pokemon has some kind of issue or some trauma in their life, and Ash comes and saves the day. And a little pig, I mean, who doesn't love a little pig? So this is like a little pig and like fighting underwear or something like that. So to me, I think it kind of works. It's very cute. Um, Most people, me included, are not much of a fan of Pig Night, to be honest. I know you said it reminds you of someone, so I apologize there. But as far as its look, it's not. It's like an oval. It's like a weird shape. I guess the shape is what really bothers me about it most of all. I understand what they're doing. They're obviously putting that fighting type once again, so it looks like it's a wrestler with a wrestler costume on. That does make
Yes.
sense, but I think just the shape of it, it's just a little bit too oval for this Pokemon. I think it should have had more of a distinction maybe around its neck instead of just being one big oval. I think that's what's the divide for me. However, Emboar to me is a fantastic Pokemon. This
Yes.
Pokemon, you're right, it definitely looks like Hawaiian because if you think of the I forget his one name. He's one in the first island. He has a gray hair. He's doing all this poses that I can see this guy doing. I really wish I remembered his name, but anybody who's listening to this probably knows who I'm talking about. Again, I believe he's in the first island where you find Tapu Koko, and he has gray hair. He looks very much like this guy. But I think its design is great. And if you see the shiny of this Pokemon with where the flames turn blue, fantastic. So it's a great design. But this is when people were getting annoyed with firefighting. So I'm sure this doesn't have the best reception, but I still think it's a very good Pokemon line. The beginning and the end are very strong. The middle, not so much.
All right.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
Well, we're gonna move on to water, and for Ruby and Sapphire, we got Mudkip. His evolved form is Marshtomp, and then Swamp Art. Swamp Art is his like evolved form, but his Mega Swamp Art, I can only find this on. Can't find the Mega ones for a lot of the other Pokemon, but I found one for Swamp Art. And I gotta say, I like his Mega form than his regular form. Swamp.
Okay.
Mudkip is
Be careful what you say. You're gonna upset a community. Mudkip have such a big following. So.
I no, just it's a big
No.
for me for Mudkip. Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm not feeling his look. Like I
Okay.
said, for water type. Now, don't get me wrong. I respect what they were going for. I would say this: his name is better than his design. In a sense,
Okay.
I love the name Mudkip. I actually do love that name. I just don't like the design of him as a starter and
Mm.
everything. And Marsh Top again, I think it's because of the eyes of when he's evolved into swamp art and like how that blackness or the black fizz and stuff go on his eyes and everything. It
Mhm.
it looks like it looks better that way. I think his evolved forms look way better, and they was if they was able to kind of design use that as the template and go back by keeping that still design. Like if his blue fin was the black kind of fin, and he
Mhm.
had like his eyes was different or something, or they had him smiling or something, he can have a better expression. He would look better stuff. But just his basic look, I am not feeling. It's a no for me on this
All
one.
right.
But I do love his mega swamp look.
Okay. That's totally fair. Mudkip, I know, has been a meme for a while. There's a bunch of, I think there's at least one episode or something with a lot of Mudkips or something, and it became a big meme or a big GIF everywhere for a long time, and I'm sure it's still a thing. So it definitely has a following. I personally really like the design. I think it looks very cute. To me, it totally gives me the water. I see what they're going for when I look through the whole evolutionary line. So it definitely already gives me vibes that it's not going to be just a pure water type, which I kind of like. It kind of gives you that foreshadowing that it's going to be more than just a pure type. Marshtomp, it does fall off a little bit. Again, it kind of suffers from the awkward middle stage Pokemon. It just looks kind of awkward. It's okay. It's not horrible, but it's not anything exciting, and I just want to evolve it right away. So it's nothing too great. Swampert, I think, is also okay. I actually think the kind of opposite. I think what you were saying with the blackness around its eyes. I think the black being so, the fins that are on its head and going so close to the eyes makes its eyes look a little more doofy. Like it looks like a goofball, but not in
Yeah.
the good way, like a slowpoke or something, looking like a doofus. I think it's trying to look cool, but trying to look goofy at the same time. And I don't think the face works so much. Now the body, I think the body looks great. And as you mentioned, Mega Swampert, I want to say I like it because I like that it's kind of swole, you know. Um, but I can't say that I think it fixes most of the problem because the face kind of it's the same. It's just, you know, its eyes, yeah, look a little meaner as opposed to looking doofy, but the fins are coming out of the eyes, and that part is just a little weird for me. Everything else, but its face, it's good. It's good. But Mudkip by itself, if I don't take together its evolutionary line, I think it's still a very strong Pokemon. If I include it all together, I think it loses a little bit because it's not as thing. I love its typing, by the way, but just not necessarily all the designs. I don't think they're as strong as they could be.
Okay. Well, we get into Diamond and Pearl, and we have Purplup, who has this penguin look to him. He evolved to Purplup, and his final form is Empoleon. Benjamin, go ahead. Thoughts on this one?
So this one has a special place for me because, again, I'm talking about more of the anime and the movies. This was, I believe, Dawn who had this Pokemon, and she used it in contests. So we got to see a lot of it, a lot of its personality, and Piplup is just super cute, just the way it says its name, the way that they show it animated. It is just a cute, and who doesn't want a penguin Pokemon, right? It's adorable. I love that it has its little dots here that make it seem like it's trying to be more impressive. How it like puffs up, it's amazing. Prinplup, I love the name. Just like you mentioned before, sometimes the name is actually better than the Pokemon itself. That one loses a little bit. I don't like the face of this one either. I like the body; it's fine. It makes sense that it looks like buttons. It's looking more princely, right? It's looking more royal. But
Yeah.
the face, the way that the yellow goes into the beak, it just doesn't. To me, this one just doesn't make sense. It looks like they were trying too hard to make the final evolution work. Now, the final evolution is amazing. I've seen
Yeah.
this in the games. I've seen this also in Pokken Tournament, and Pokken Tournament made it come to life even more. So I really, really like this design, and it's typing water steel. I think this was the first time we had a water steel when this came out. So it's amazing. Empoleon, it's a emperor penguin, Napoleon. You know, I mean, it hits all the notes. It has what looks like a frill on its chest with a tie. It just looks so good. And then the trident for its face, amazing design. So this one is definitely top tier as the first Evo and the final Evo, but the middle is a miss.
So yes, so him being a penguin, I do love his look. And Piplup is a nice name. He's so cute and so inviting and everything. And I think it's because when you look at his eyes through all the evolutions, they all kind of match in a sense. They all have some cohesiveness to it. I hope I said that right. Um, Piplup, he looks like a Mega Man boss in a sense,
Okay.
or an enemy. I do love his belt though, because it has that, like you said, it has that like suit and the look to it that penguins have in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. You know, if he had a little tie that had like watermarks on it or something, you'd be like, "Oh, that's so cute," and everything. But yeah, Empoleon, his design is on point. And I think it's because of this design, it helps him. Maybe in my ranking personally, it helps Piplup a little bit because of his final form. The arms though, I love the arms because even though they look like surfboards and
Mm-hmm.
weapons at the same time, they have like this medieval Roman look to it with the sidearms, the way that it is. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's just and like the like you said, like the middle part looks like a tie in a sense, and then the royal kind of mask of of a
Like a
weapon.
masquerade. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's going to a masquerade ball and it's looking dressed up like royalty there. It's amazing designs. And one thing I will say is that when I saw it in Pokken Tournament, I never thought that its fins could move. I thought it was a weird because they look so sharp and like because they're metal that they couldn't move, right?
Mm.
But that's not the case. They can actually bend, as I saw in Pokken Tournament. And I think for me, that was actually a really shocking thing. I never thought about it. And it actually added to it. So I'm like, oh yeah, they can control themselves because they're the Pokemon and they can make the metal as hard or as soft as they want to. So of course they can flex their wings in different ways. It's brilliant, honestly.
It looks like it's like a shield. Like if you put them up, it's a shield to them in a sense.
Mhm.
Sorry about that. I love the fact it's Empoleon, like he's an emperor. You know, he went from the small little prince to kind of like this royal king, or still, in a sense, and then he's an emperor with this look. So they kind of got the name right and the design. Which
Mhm.
leads us into Black and White 1 and 2 with Oshawott. He's kind of like a panda bear with the shell on his stomach, which leads to D Watts, where he grows up a little bit more, and then his final evolution is Samrawatts. And I gotta say, out of all the waters, I love Oshawott. He's like the cutest one under the water. As a starter, just the way that he looked. I do have a problem though with Samrawat,
Okay.
because he is like Usher. Um, well, not D Watt looks more of a samurai, and Samurai doesn't have that samurai look to him. Like you would think that he would be on his 2 legs still, but he's on his four and everything. And I understand where they're going for with the shell, and I think it's the hair that's on him and stuff. It's trying to be like this old samurai. He's a master because he has evolved. And like the fist that's on his side has a samurai look, but you would think that, I don't know. There's something about, I think because he's on 4 legs, that ruins the samurai look to it, big compared to him still being uh on 2 legs. Because I would love to see like some petals, like some cherry blossom petals designed with water or
Okay.
something. He could still keep like the helmet, and he definitely could still keep the the mustache with and everything. But I think he just needs to be a little bit designed more with it, or have some kind of what is the outfit that they wear? Uh I think what samurai wear as an outfit.
They're
Uh
armors. I know what you're saying, but I don't know what it's called. But yeah, they're armor of sorts.
yeah,
Maybe
a
have
gi
more of it. Yeah.
yeah, not a gi. It's different. Yeah. I
Genji?
think
Maybe?
probably
Genji?
so. I,
Hmm.
like I said, D What has that samurai look to it. Over samurai. But I kind of like this. I love Oshawa. Because he sounds like a little city in Wisconsin in a sense. But he's so adorable. No, his design is so adorable. Thoughts, Benji?
So, Oshawa is an amazing Pokemon. The whole line, I think, is actually great, but it got better recently, and I'll go over that in a minute. But Oshawott itself, so it's definitely an otter, but it's also a snowman, right? So it's like a
Mm,
mixture of the two. It's a little snowman face and a little otter together, and it's Scowl Chop. If you when they animate this in the TV, the anime or the movies, it always drops its Scout Chop in the middle, and it just adds to the character of it. Like it needs that Scout Chop, and it freaks out if it doesn't have it, and just it's an amazing little attention to detail. I love that it can be removed. When I first saw it before I was able to play the game, I thought it always stood there, and it was a little weird that it had a shell or whatever right here.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's just placed there and he uses it, I think is fantastic. And then this is probably the strongest of all middle evolutions ever. Duat is an amazingly designed Pokemon. I think
Yes.
I don't think they could do any better. It perfectly looks like an evolution. It perfectly still looks like an otter. It definitely, like you said, it's definitely giving you that the fighter samurai vibes. And when it uses its dual Scout Chops, it's so good. It's such a good design. I can see why people like it probably more than the final. Now I know what they were going for with the final. For me, I like the face because samurais usually do. If you think of them, and I'm going to think of the more recent one from Scarlet and Violet, Bisharp's Evolution, King Gambit. If you compare this one to King Gambit is sitting, but it's still not on four legs. But you see, its face looks like it has the hair very much reminiscent of this. This one has an exaggerated helmet, just like that kind of does. So they have similarities there. They succeeded more with the new Pokemon King Gambit than they did Samurott. However, they did have a second chance to make this one look even better, and I think they succeeded. And that's in Pokemon Legends Arceus. If you go back to the Hisui region and you find Hisuian Samurott. Now, Hisuian Samurott turns from a pure water to a water dark. Now, this one is a badass design. It looks like a bad or an evil samurai. Just the changes that they did to the colors, the changes that they did to the hair, instead of being so flowy, like it's jagged,
Yeah.
and everything is darker tone, and I think it works so much better. So if that was more of the original design, I think everybody would be on this ride. But the original one is just a little vanilla, and yeah, being on four legs after being bipedal, it's the same thing like we have the opposite way. When you have a starter that starts as a quadruped, you don't want it to stand up, right? So this is the
Right.
same way. This one started as on 2 feet. Why couldn't it stay there? I think it would have been a little bit more successful. But like I said, I do think that they redeemed themselves once they came out with the Hisuian version of Samurott, because that one is like chef's kiss. It's so good. But all in all, this is a fantastic line. I think this line is definitely A tier.
Okay. Well, it's time for us to get in the final section, which is our grass type. From Ruby and Sapphire, we got Treco. No, Trico.
Trico.
He evolves into Groville? Grovely?
Grova.
Grovla. I can never say his name right. Uh, and then he gets into Skeptile.
Mhm.
And I have to say, my favorite Pokemon. My favorite grass Pokemon. I love Rico. I love his attitude. He has he has that Charizard attitude, but yet he's more respectful and obedient in a sense. You
Mhm.
know, and when he gets into uh grow grow Growlake, that can I say it?
Grovile.
Grovile. It's that long leaf on top of his head. It's giving so much attitude yet coolness. And it literally fits. And I kind of like the little grass thing, that's on the cell and hands. And just his expression, just like, yeah, he got this comedian look. But then Skeptile, he got that, yes, Christmas tree at the end with the little bells and stuff. And like he looks like he could be a legend Pokemon, or
Oh,
he could be on the level like a Mewtwo or something.
wow.
You know, I love that. His design for all three of them is just so beautiful to look at. It takes your attention when you see it, and you be like, oh man, they did it right. The cohesiveness of the designs just flows so good. So that is my thoughts on Trico. Benjamin, take it away.
This is a very strong designed evolutionary line. Absolutely. Trico is such a really good. I mean, it's a tree gecko, right in the name, perfectly designed. Fun. I love the pop of color with the red as its underbelly. The yellow eyes pop, and how it is in the anime. Like you said, it does have like an attitude to it, but it's a fun attitude. It's not too crazy, and I think it even has had like a leaf in its mouth, almost like a like a twig. Amazing.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Um, Grovyle definitely carries on that look. It's just more enhanced. It definitely looks more mature. The long leaf coming out of its head, the long leaves coming out of everywhere. When it made sense when they introduced the move. What is it called? Leaf blade, right? Because
Yes.
you could totally see it using leaf blade with the leaves coming out of its arms. It was perfect. So I love that. Sceptile is also a very strong design. It definitely looks like it should be on like a pine tree, like hiding out, and then it's just going to surprise you. But for me, I think the best design is its mega. It got a mega design, and this was the first time that they gave us the combination grass dragon type at the time, and I think that one was fantastic. It just really enhanced everything that Sceptile did, and then it had a tail that could shoot off. Amazing, amazingly designed. This one was so popular that they put it also in Pokken Tournament, and you got to see it animated even more. And to see Sceptile animated in that game, I think it just added so much character to that Pokemon. So, very, very strong designed. Entire evolutionary line. I don't think they missed a step here. Everything has been A+ all the way.
Yes. Well, we're going to get into Diamond and Pearl, which we have Turtwig. He's a little turtle with the kind of like a tree, a small little sap tree on his head. We go into Grotto, uh, where he's like on four with some grass and like this kind of shell being to it. He's still like in a turtle look. And then Torterra. It's his final evolved form. Um, and he has like a tree on his back with these with this. He has it looks like metal on him in a sense. So it looks like he's a mixture of metal and grass together. Um, thoughts, Benjamin, on Turtwig?
Turtwig is cute. Um, it definitely was interesting that in the anime that Turtwig happened to be, well, at least Ash's Turtwig happened to be a very fast Pokemon. It didn't really make much sense to me that you had this turtle, and turtles are, basically known to be slow, or at least
Yes.
slower. But his happened to be very fast and energetic, and I thought that was a little odd, but it's a very cute design. I love the little twig on its head. Turtles, I mean, most people like turtles. Most boys like turtles, right? There's something appealing about them. I do think it loses a little bit in its middle evolution. Grottle is
Yes.
okay. I mean, I can see what they were going for, but the bushes just don't really add much. It goes from a twig to a bush. It's just, it's just okay. Nothing there really stands out to me as a wonderful positive. It's just okay. I just want to get it to its final form. So it has that middle stage syndrome, like as I mentioned already many times. Torterra, I think, is a very strong design. It looks menacing.
Yes.
It looks like it has a really huge, but kind of like a huge but small bonsai tree on its back. But I do see what you're saying with the bands of gray all around. They look like metal as opposed to its typing being grass and ground. Um, I think if they would have changed some of those colors around, like if they were supposed to be rock, maybe make rock a different color, like a dirtier rock, or kind of emphasize the ground typing a little bit more. I think that's where it falls off. Not that the design is bad, it's just it does not, if you look at it, you wouldn't think if it's grass ground. And I think if you think of it that way, it's a little bit of a fail, right? You should know what it is by looking at it, at least it's typing, and this one kind of tricks you. I will say, when it appeared in Detective Pikachu, the movie, it was fantastic. It was
Yeah.
fantastic to see that huge thing come out of the ground and seeing that it was a Pokemon. I think that was so, so cool. So that kind of added to it. But all in all, I think this evolutionary line is mediocre. It's not a bad line, but it could be stronger.
Yeah. So Rattle, he looks like a construction worker. A turtle under a construction hat. Look at
Okay.
it. Look from where
Okay.
his face at,
A
and it's
construction
just
hat.
like it was like he's working. I'm going to go help the construction workers build this Poke Center or something like that. Yeah, the grassing doesn't work for me. Think if so, he looks like he needs to be a chia pet,
Okay.
but yet he has this construction worker for a background, as a construction hat kind of look to him, and they both don't fit. Because the thing about it is, I think Torterra is maybe the strongest evolution in grass types that I see. Yes, I love Skeptile, but man, looking at Torterra, they be like, ooh, they up the grade, and it makes it hard when you look at the two. What looks better? And I have to give it to Torterra, for it because of he had the way that his eyes changed, the way that he got this kind of rock thing on the side, and the way his nose is. And then the tree, you know, the tree looks like you said, a bonsai tree. Um, look like it could just make fruit appear and heal the team. You got poison, here's some antidote fruit to heal your team and stuff. Like, then the sprites that he got on the back, I guess with the grass growing on it, it gives this kind of ancient mystical that's been around, like tomb that's been around for 13,000 years. And now like it's something that if Laura Cross seen it, be like, ah, it's a clue. Let me go explore the tomb. Pertwig himself, I think he's safe as a design. Um, cute, I think the evolutions are just safe and everything, but Torterra is so strong. So that's it for Diamond and Pearl. We're gonna get into our final one of Black and White, and we're gonna get into Snivy. Snivy has this snake kind of look to him, which is really cool. Servine, no, yeah, Servine is middle form, and then Serperior is his third form, which makes it like a big rump, a big snake. Um, Servine looks like it has more of a feminine look to it, and like when you look at the feet, it look like boots in a sense.
Okay.
Where it has the V neck kind of gold um look kind of shirt or collar to it and everything. Um, yeah, I only picked him in Black and White because he was grass type. I
Okay.
didn't pick him because of the way that he looked. I think he was just grass type. It Sniffy's kind of like, I do love his regular look, and I do love his middle look. I There's something about the his final evolution that I do not enjoy.
Hmm.
And I think it's because they take away the feet and they make him more of a snake and stuff in it. Just like he has a Breath of the Wild look to him, like
Okay.
uh on the outside, which is cool, which I can enjoy. But if
Mm.
he was like in Breath of the Wild and one of the big enemies that you had to fight, and he just snilled around different places trying to make your adventure hard, he would fit in. I just don't like his final look in his evolution. Um, Thoughts, Benjamin?
So first, I will say it's Snivy.
Nice.
But that's okay. Believe me, the way the Pokemon names are pronounced is a big point of contention around the Pokemon community. So say it however you say it. But from the anime and everything like that would be Snivy, like Ivy and Snake, I guess. I try to like take the word and like chop it in half to try to see
Uh,
what makes sense. Ivy and Snake, Snivy. So I think it's a great first Pokemon. Like the big eyes, the fact that you see that it's like a snake kid type of situation. I love the collar. Like, I mean, you know, like I'm having a collar here. I love the collar. I love its attitude. I really love everything about Snivy. I think it's a greatly designed Pokemon. I loved how it appeared in the anime. Love it. Now, Servine, I really don't like Servine. Um, I think there's something that's not right about its proportions. I'm not feeling its face with the way that the green like kind of covers almost like hair, but not quite. And then I think that it should have been longer. Honestly, I think that I
mm,
understand what they did with the final evolution, but the middle one, I still think should have been longer. I think its proportions are weird. I know even some people kind of say, why do snakes have arms or feet or something? And I think it was Lockston, one of the people I follow on YouTube, that went into like the history of different types of snakes. And there are some snakes like things with appendages that people are not very familiar with. So to me, that kind of opened my eyes like, oh, okay, I can see how Pokemon took that into their design, right? Not just pulling something out of their head and saying, how about we put a snake with legs or a snake with arms or something? It actually is a thing in real life. So that kind of helped me like it a little bit more, but still, I don't think the middle evolution does it any justice. Now, for me, Superior, I think, is a wonderful design. I love the design. I think it definitely encapsulates like it's trying to go like a superior, like a royal type Pokemon, and I think it's to me, I think it succeeds. Totally understand it losing its legs, but it does at least keep its hands. I don't know if you know that right behind its back, there's a little piece of green, and they're actually the hands, but they go in the back. They kind of blend in. It can use them if it needs to, but it doesn't use them all the time, and it kind of blends in. So it still has hands, just doesn't have feet. And to me, it's a snake. Snakes don't really need feet, in my opinion. So
yeah.
I really like it. I think for me, what I liked most about it is that it has a hidden ability in the games that if it uses Leaf Storm, I believe it's Leaf Storm, that would normally harshly lower its special attack. Instead, it raises its special attack. So I thought that was really fun to play throughout the game. So maybe that's a little bit more of the bias I have towards it because I thought it was very fun to play as with its hidden ability. But for me, Snivy is a very goodly designed Pokemon, a well-designed Pokemon. Servine is not. Honestly, it's probably the bottom of the barrel for me. And then Superior regains that confidence I have with the line, and it's a very strong design.
I will say, um, like for Snivy, I do love. It looks like he has a coat on in a
Mm-hmm.
sense, and I love that. I love that look to it, and I guess it kind of loses the coat when it get into Servine, because he kind of looks like he gets the coat back in Superior, but yeah,
Mm.
uh,
You need those feet, is what it is.
it's gonna be an interesting ranking, everybody. So,
Yeah.
which we're about to get into now. So, number 9, Benjamin, who you think is the lowest of these? Just out of the starters.
Hmm. I think for me, the lowest of the starters, number 9, is going to be Chimchar.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the fire on the butt doesn't make any sense. Should have been on the head, I think. And it's just okay. It doesn't. I want it to evolve to its final form immediately. I really don't care about it in its original state. So that tells me that it has to be on the end.
For me, it's Snivy. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
I He's a cute Pokemon. He's grass type, but I'm not feeling his look. I think his look for all for, from him going from Servine to Superior just doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
So
Totally
um
fair.
I kind of would say, hmm, but I don't think Chimchar is that bad. Well,
It's gonna be very tough with not having a tiebreaker, right? It's more tough to figure out. Maybe we should first say all of our rankings, and then we can kind of put the final. Maybe we do that this way because it's only the two of us. Maybe
okay.
that would be easier.
Well,
And I'm putting
but
it down. I'm having a little note here of
okay,
where I put it, you, and then what our final is going to be, so we can
okay.
remember.
Because I don't once again I don't have my ranking. So Snivy is my number 9.
Okay, got it.
Uh, I'm going to put that right from. It's going to show right here, but Snivy is my number 9. I'm going to put it. Uh, and you said Chimchar was yours.
Yes.
Okay, number 8. Uh, man, number 8. I I'm sorry, I got to go with Mudkip for number 8.
Mudkip. Okay, I had a feeling that was going to be a low one for you. So that's your number 8.
Yeah,
Okay. For me, it would be Yep, Turtwig. It's just I no nope.
so Turtwig.
Hmm.
Okay, that's your number 8. Number 7. Um, I think number 7 for me probably. I think number 7 for me would be Tepid.
Tepig.
Yeah, that would be my number 7. Well,
Well,
no, I think that my number 7 would be Turtwig.
Turtwig.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like I said, I do um I love his final. I love the final version. Think you know his Grotto just doesn't. It's too mixed of a design. And but what
Yeah.
would be yours?
So I thought we almost had a same for there. I thought we almost had the same choice because I chose Tepig as my number 7. All
Okay,
7.
Tech Pig. Because like number 6 would be Tech Pig for me. And
Number
it's
6. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Hmm. Now we're getting closer to like harder choices for me. Okay, so if I had to do number 6, I think I'm going to give it to Snivy. I think Snivy is going to be my number 6.
Okay. Yes, and- Okay. So actually this works, actually this works this way because I could count from 1 to 10 and whoever has the most points. Uh There'll be
There
that
we go.
ranking. Okay.
Hey, sounds good.
Okay, so number 5 for me would have to be uh hmm no, because I 'cause- no 'cause I feel like Torchic is higher. Um, I feel like Piplup is higher. I am going to hmm. I'm going to go with Ashwa.
Ashwat is your number 5. Okay.
That's my number 5.
All right. So for me, I think I'm going to be putting Mudkip as my number 5. I think Mudkip
Ah,
is totally cute. I just think that the eye stuff I was talking about its evolution, so seeing it as a whole, it's just a little funny, you know? So yeah, Mudkip, number 5.
now we're at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, number 4 for me. Did I do Tepig already? Yeah, I did do Tepig.
Yes, that was your 6. Yeah.
Uh, Chimchar is gonna be my number 4. I don't think yeah.
You didn't do Chimchar, so number 4. Okay.
So Chimchar is my number 4.
Gotcha. Now it's getting harder for me for sure. But I think my number 4 is going to go to Trico.
Okay. All right. Here goes number 3, which if I have to, hmm,
It's
I'm
getting
going
hard.
with I'm going with Piplup,
Piplup as your number 3.
number 3.
All right. My number 3 is going to be Torchic. Yeah. I love the finals, but that doesn't mean that Torchic itself is that wonderful. So still 3 is good. So okay.
Okay. Torchic. Which number 2 would be Torchic for me.
Number 2. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. My number 2 is going to be. This is tough. I'm trying to think here. My number 2 is going to be Piplup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Piplup is number 2. So number 1 for me, uh,
It's
would
Trico.
is Trico. Yep.
Yep. And number 1 for me is Oshawott. And I will say that thanks to Hisuian Samurott for completing the line in such a wonderful way, really shot it up for me. Oshawott itself is amazing. Duat is amazing. Samurott is okay, but Hisuian Samurott is fantastic. So it really redeemed the entire line for me, and that's what put it over the top.
Okay. So Ben, Snivy gets 1 point, and you got it as number 6, so that would make 4. So Snivy has 5 points in general and right now.
Okay.
Chimchar has oh, 7, 8, no, 6, 7, 8, 9. Chimchar has 7 points. Because
Okay.
number 4, he was my 6. I mean 6 points, and Chimchar for you was 9, so that's 1 point. Okay. Mupkit, uh, he has 2 points from me, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 from you, so he has 7 points. Mupkit.
Okay.
Turtwig has 5 points because he has 2 from you. He has 3 from me.
You said 5 points?
Yeah, he has 5 points in total.
Okay.
Okay. Tepig has 3 points from you, 4 points from me.
Okay.
Okay, we already did Snivy. Oshawott has 5 points from me and 9 from you.
Wow, okay.
Okay. Now we did Mudkip already. Chimchar has 6 from me and 1 from you. So he has 7.
Okay.
Okay. Piplup has 7 from me. He has 8 from you. So that makes it 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Torchy has 8 from me, 7 from you. So that's 15. And Trico has 1 for me. That's 9. And 9, 8, 7, 6. 6 from you, which makes 15.
All right. Hmm.
So I know we got some that is tied.
Mm-hmm.
How many 15s do we have?
Well, if I was doing this right, I think we have 3, if I captured it correctly.
Okay.
If I did. I'm not 100% sure I captured it correctly. Maybe you have it better than I do.
Did you write the numbers down for them? Like the totals?
Again, I think I did, but I might not have. I don't know. I was trying to follow along. I got the original numbers from you and I.
Okay.
And as far as the calculation of how you were doing the numbering, I think I was writing them down. So from what I think I wrote down, I have Trico, Torchic, and Piplup at 15. Does that
Okay.
match what you have or no?
Trico, Piplup, and what's the third one?
Torchic.
Torchic. Okay. I think Piplup would take number 1.
Okay, let's see here.
What
So out of
actually
those 3, hmm,
would you want Piplup or
yeah, I'm okay with that. Based off of where
okay.
I had it as number 2. Yeah, I can definitely see Piplup being number 1. So that's
Okay.
locked in.
I think Piplup is number 1. 2 would be Trico. And I think 3 would be uh
Torchic.
Torch. Yeah.
I'm fine with that too. 3 is what I had Torchic as myself. I had Trico as 4, but you had it as 1. If we average that out, I think that works. So we're saying Trico is 2, Torchic is 3.
Yes.
Perfect.
Who was 4? I think we had I think Ashwat had
14, I think. Yeah.
so
So,
Ashwat would be Ashwat would be 4.
Yep.
Who was 5? Think Mudkip? Think Mudkip would be 5.
I think we had a tie there. I think we had Chimchar and Mudkip at 7, if I'm correct. But I'm not sure if I'm correct with Chimchar. I know I had Mudkip as 7. What did you have Mudkip as far as the total
As
points?
far as the total. Okay, so Mudkip for me was 2, and then Mudkip for you was 5. So that would make 7.
Okay, so
Uh,
we are tied. So Mudkip and Chimchar are tied at 7. So that's what we have to
I
see which one is going to be 5.
I will, you know what? Because I love Mudkip's name, I'm gonna give it to Mudkip.
I
And
would definitely
Chimchar,
say Mudkip is better than Chimchar in my opinion. So yes, please. Mudkip 5. Mhm.
okay. So Mudkip 5, Chimchar 6.
Yep.
Who is underneath them?
Okay, so I let me see. So the ones we have left are Turtwig, Snivy, and Tepig. What did you have for the total number for Tepig? That's another one that I'm not sure if I wrote it down. I
Um,
think
okay, so Tepig is 7 because I had him at 6, which is 4 points. 7 will make it 3 points for you.
okay,
So
4.
that would make 7 points. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
so that was 7 too. So then that one would be 7 then, right? Because that was the
yeah.
third one tied for 7. So that would be 7.
So Tepig is 7. Uh,
And then the last two were tied in my opinion, 2 at 5 each. Turtwig and Snivy. So that's where we have to determine, right? Um,
yes.
I think I really think Snivy is a little better, in my opinion, than Turtwig. Because Snivy itself is amazing design. It falls off for me in the second design, but it gains it back in the third. For you, you like the first two designs, but you're not as happy with the third. But for Turtwig, we both think that the turtle is kind of simple. The second one, it's not doing us any favors. You think it looks like a helmet. And then the third one, even though it's good, it's I find that it doesn't match its typing the way that it should. Although for you, the third evolution, I'm sorry, third evolution is very strong. So that's a little tough.
You know what? I had to go with Turtwig with 8.
For 8, Turtwig.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Because it must be because of that final evolution being so strong then, right?
Yeah. But
Okay.
and it is cohesive in some way. I'm not too. Turtwig plays it really safe, and I think I just feel like they lose Snivy when they get to the third one. So
Okay.
our ranking, everybody, is gonna be number 9, Snivy, 8, Turtwig, 7, Pig, 6, Chimchar, 5, Mudkip, 4, Oshawott, 3, Torchic, 2, Pico, and 1, Hipla.
I think that was a good rating. It's hard. I mean, as they all have some positives and the negatives, so it's always going to be very difficult to find a common ground based off of our opinions. But I think we did a really good job.
Think Piplup was the right decision. I'm looking back at it, and Epilon is just a master look. And in Piplup, I still feel like it's still strong as an evolution. You know,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Piplup is an amazing design. It's super cute. It's animated very well. It's gotten a lot of spotlight in the series. Its middle evolution, I still think it loses something. I haven't really seen anything that redeemed it. However, the name makes sense. Prinplup, like, it's princely, and then it goes to an emperor. But it redeems itself fully. So it goes from a very, very strong design of Piplup, goes from a mediocre design, in my opinion, in the middle evolution, but then it redeems it so hard at that final because that final with that trident as a face, with it being an emperor
Yes.
penguin,
Yes.
a steel type for the first water steel type. I mean, it just has so many good things going for it. So I think it's a fair decision.
Yes. And everybody, that is going to be our ranking for the Game Boy events of Ruby Sapphire and the DS with Diamond and Pearl, Black and White 1 and 2. Now, we have 3DS and the Nintendo Switch. That is our final ones. So it's going to be it's going to be 12 Pokemon because we have Sun and Moon. Well, yeah, we have what Sun and Moon, uh, X and
Yeah.
Y.
Uh-huh.
We have Sword and Shield, and then
Yep.
we got Scarlet and Violet. We got
Yeah.
those.
That's a lot. It's a lot to go.
Oh, and I don't know how we're gonna feel about Scarlet and Violet. That's gonna be very interesting because I gotta admit, Quaxley is a well designed character. I love Quaxley's design, but I gotta look at X and Y because I forgot how those starters look and
Oh,
everything.
really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Well,
I'm
what reminds
excited.
me of that, just as a point, is that X and Y did something I thought was pretty cool. Is that they decided to go in like almost like an RPG way. They started to use themes for Pokemon. So you have a Pokemon that's a ninja at the end. You have a Pokemon that's a paladin or a warrior at the end, and you have a Pokemon that's a mage at the end. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we rank them. That for sure.
Yes, everybody. The next episode is our final episode. So then, if it's just us two again, we got our ranking system.
Yes.
And I will put my I will make sure that I will have my ranking down this time, and we go from there. But everybody, that's gonna be it for ranking Nintendo the Pokemon Edition. Benjamin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. My at handle is Akizero. It's AQUIZERO.
Yes, and you can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can check more of Ranking Nintendo on Bossrush Media on our YouTube page and bossrush.net. Come join us on our Discord at Bossrush Media. And everybody, you can also check out Nintendo Power Block and Expansion Pass on Boss Rush Media on our YouTube page. With it, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Let us know on our Discord what is your ranking of the Pokemon starters. We want to know what you guys think because the next episode is our final one, and that's 12 Pokemon, and that's going to be very, very good. I'm so excited for that. With that,
Excited.
everybody, yes. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Ranking Nintendo. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nintendo Expansion Pass is part of Nintendo Power Block and is a product of Boss Rush Media LLC. The show is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio, and is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-host is Corey Deary. You can find Corey at I am Corey at HD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. Follow Expansion Pass as part of Nintendo Power Block and on all social media platforms at Power Block Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.